Sup everyone, we are back with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles 2. And I have done a lot of audio tweaking in between last recording and this one. I might sound a lot louder, I might sound quieter. I honestly am it's hard to tell it until I actually upload stuff to YouTube how it actually sounds, you know. But I think this should sound better hopefully. I realized that I don't know how much sense this will make, but I had two pop filters over my mic, two separate ones. Ever since I've started this channel, I have had two pop filters when I probably should have only had one. I had like a one on an arm, like the ones that are like made of felt or something. I had one of those, and then I also have a foam one directly over the mic over, just the mic itself. So I've been having two of them for a while here, and I realized that I've kind of had two for no apparent reason. So I took one of them away. Who knows if that'll help. And also I am constantly trying to monitor the direct connection from my mic to, well, the computer. Hopefully that'll also help some stuff. Also, the mic is way closer to my face now, because now that I don't have the pop filter on an arm, I have it just like directly underneath my mouth almost. But anyways, let's get back into things by getting to the testimony, shall we? To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. Hold it right there, man. And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way. No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in very highest esteem. But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you? No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know. Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo, because that copyright is not held inside this game. But as soon as I remember this magnificent genius's name, you'll be the first to know. It just won't be in this game. You'll have to look up that quote online somewhere, and maybe you'll figure out from that. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols in mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Von Zykes really did have a friend once, but I didn't notice hell freezing over. Listen, hell froze over because it had a very bad winter. All the crops down there are dead. I mean, they're probably dead anyways, considering it's hell, but you know what I mean. Alright, statement number 2. Your hypothesis states it, so this isn't even proven then. No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can't be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course, so I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It's the whole reason that the birdcage is made of wood, you see. Sorry, the birdcage? Yes, that's what I call this. The C. obtusa cage in which Mr. Asmon is placed for the kinesis. Naruhodo ne?
Oh, the jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to be made of a timber of some sort. Timber!
I'll thank you not to refer to it as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship.
In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on the stage as it was made of metal, correct?
Yes, that's it. Yes. It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model.
But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Indeed, sir.
Someone beam me out of this nightmare. Beam me up, Scotty. In other words, they just need to seem to be pleased by that. Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. But I sense some sarcasm, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you not pleased? No. I like just the no with no point, with just no with a single period after it, and that's it. I knew it. At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Hazman losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse, I know that. No, you're quite right.
Tell the court, did you have a close relationship with Mr. Hazman?
Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I only met him 2 or 3 times. And we only ever discussed my hypothesis in the project. And the research grant, of course. Really. Patron of my research. So he only spoke like 2 or 3 times, and yet he decided to grant your work. How did you come to know Mr. Hazman in the first place? Black market. A year ago now, a small provincial science journal published a little paper about my work. Well, that certainly is a little paper.
That's a scientific journal? Good gracious, I should need new spectacles.
I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time I had no money. I like how he's smiling while he says this. It's like, yeah, I was dead broke. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered-down water out of a tiny little glass. But Mr. Hazman read the paper and came to visit me in my tiny little laboratory.
And offered you money to help fund your work.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I handled the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Hazman provided me with an engineer for the practical. An engineer, huh? We heard about an engineer before. I feel like they're definitely going to come up later. And the 3 of us produced that fantastic machine together. So you're saying that one of you is dead, one of you is got accused, and the 3rd one is nowhere to be seen, huh? Very suspicious. But the machine that you brought to the Great Exhibition to demonstrate. We had to apply to the government. We'd apply to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I didn't understand all that side of things. Mr. Hazman took care of it all. He was a wonderful man. Really, I owe him everything. Including being in the defendant's seat right here. Alright. Last statement. What do we got? When you say that you built the machine together, does that mean you were involved in its construction? Yes. Ooh, well, not exactly. I'm not good with the practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by an engineer.
Little remains of your creation now, though, following the explosion. Repair will no doubt be impossible.
Yes, I realize that, but still. If someone were to gather all the broken parts, they could discover the secret of my hypothesis. When Mr. Hazman and I toiled over that machine for so long, we put our hearts and souls into it. I have to protect our work. So what's left of the machine must be kept safe. That's only fair, because what happened was an accident. Alright. Now Renosuke talking to himself. That's the extent of the testimony then. Thank goodness for that. I don't want him doing any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. But it seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder. What if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? I'm still at the stage of gathering data on my research. Okay. This is made of wood. Wood. So, I guess we just have to find... Maybe we have to find evidence of something metal that is at the scene? Parent stab wound in the chest. We still don't know what this is. It still looks like a freaking crossbow or of some weird, like... I don't even know what to call it. It looks like a crossbow or some type of gun, at least. Okay. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. As the patron of my research, without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. It's gotta be like this one, right? Metal screwdriver that was found poking through the grill in the base. Huh. This is certainly interesting. I'm gonna skip ahead till I get an idea. The Reaper attacked. Let's learn about this maybe, because it actually said that I haven't checked this yet. It's the kingpins of the criminal underworld, generally managing to escape conviction in the Reaper's trials. This isn't the first time their henchmen have tried to attack Lord Van Zykes as a result, by the sound of it. It makes you think. That's how the justice system works in London. Then there must be dark forces at work. Well, shit. Nothing there. Oh well. Back to skipping. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here and say maybe present the photograph of the victim. I have no idea as to what, but... Objection. Oh shoot, the music stopped. Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct. Wow, I actually got it first try. I didn't even do any reloads. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. Look at this photograph. Every time I look, it makes me laugh. In particular, I'd like to pay attention to the victim's face. Oh, the glasses or whatever. You can clearly see that Mr. Asmund is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No, metal can't... That's not... Metal? No! We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place. My hypothesis! Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. Man's going crazy.
Order! Counsel, what is the implication of this?
If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. Oh, that was nasty. Sorry. I, burped mid-sentence. That was nasty. I apologize. But my hypothesis is sound. I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work.
If I can say so right here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, juror number 4, go ahead. As a matter of science is one thing I simply can't abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait, great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say the wreckage of that machine should be... I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No, never. That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Good question. I actually don't know on this one. Usually this game's all about, like, whenever they give you an option to raise an objection, you're supposed to. But I'm gonna wait and see on this. Maybe I should watch and wait for the time being.
My feeling is that the machine requires a thorough examination.
But what about the special dispensation that's been mentioned? Oh gosh, this is all too much.
If it's determined that the machine itself is a murder weapon, I think you'll find that act won't apply. Of course it was the murder weapon. Anyone can see that as plain as day.
I don't know why I decided on that accent for that dude, but I guess it's just because of some of the words he said.
So we're all in agreement, are we? That the machine should be stripped.
If I don't do something, they'll... Okay, there we go. Professor Harebrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so...
Even so what?
Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
Oh boy.
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators? What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds a year.
Oh, you can live handsome on that much for years.
The Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. That is totally bogus, man. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
Well then. No, I haven't deceived anyone. Least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound. The science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
Objection! No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Ah, Barrack.
And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused.
Ah, Barrack. The turnaround. Where is this heading? I have no idea.
My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Van Zykes.
The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand.
Here we go. Time for even more new faces that I have to voice. Oh boy.
New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement?
Probably people in the crowd, maybe?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats.
Eyewitnesses?
Very well, the court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche. The accused killed the financier The financier victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend.
Oh, yes?
How will you deal with this? It's time for you to make your own stance clear.
It's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me?
We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
Man, if only it was actually 20 minutes, I'd be able to end the episode by the time the recess was over. To be continued. Blah, blah. Dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Mr. Naruhodo. What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis, my amazing hypothesis, you've been picking holes in it from the start. Sorry about that. But you promised me. You said you'd prove that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder. You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is try to undermine me. Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? But if I try to run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. Oh, no! Cheer up, Broccoli Head. You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject... What about Barrick? He's being awful. I mean, his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore. Glad that's cleared up. Sorry. Can I double check something with you? Yes, what? The machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved. I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. All right, Professor, I understand. Counsel, defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way to the courtroom, please. Back at it again. It only took us like 5 minutes. All hinges on that demonstration. The professor's hypothesis is as it claims. It leaves him as the only person who could have possibly killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? Good question. We'll just have to figure that out next time. No, I'm kidding. We're only at 25 minutes. I ain't cutting it here. 23rd October, 11 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Yet again. Back at it. I'm curious what the frickin' witnesses are gonna look like.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord.
As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Zykes, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes. Indeed they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective.
Oh god.
So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable.
Perfect, a detective of all people.
The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in.
Right you are, sir.
The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally.
Who we got? Okay. Oh, Gina! So she's the detective they referred to. Okay, so 2 witnesses and Gina. I thought it was going to be like 1 new witness and Gina.
Witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court and occupations for the court to hear.
Balthazar Lune. Lune? I can already tell that I can already see the thing with them. They have a freaking hot air balloon as a hat. My name is Balthazar Lune. Lune. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the Esperimento stage. Is that good dude Italian? Do I have to do a freaking Italian? Oh my god, this name. Oh my god, this... Now I have to do a German accent? Oh my god. No, the accents. I'm gonna offend so many people. Oh no. My name is Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Ormstein. I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. Coin. What the? I'm very rich. Okay, good to know. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective, even Sherlock Holmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition, and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. Gina, again. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon, actually, didn't she? She clearly loved every minute of it. Yeah. It's good to see her have a genuine smile on her face.
There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above.
You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low. Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet. About 18 meters, then. Right. Conversion rates.
Thank you for your introductions. Now, you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage.
Alright, we got 3 people up here. So an Italian, a German, and what do you even call Gina? I don't even know the accent I've been using for her technically. It was an incidente terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. God. Wahoo! You know what? I used the TV show Mario voice for one of the Skulkin brothers. Maybe I can use like more a Charles Martinet Mario for this dude. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second another bang in the sky beside us. And from amid the smoke, oh wait, no. And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. Mine. Wahoo! It's me, Mario. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the Crystal Tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. I was more paying attention to how I said the words rather than actually paying attention to them.
A most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically that there were 2 explosions.
More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the Crystal Tower.
Interesting. I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a scene, so I kept my eyes wide. Give me another balloon. I still have lots of money. Yes, we know you're rich. Man, I'm expecting this kid to roll up with wearing Supreme next time. By day 2 of the trial.
Precisely who is this curious infant? I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Not to be confused with Bohemian Rhapsody. Apparently he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition.
Yeah. I am here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school.
We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony.
Do we really need that? When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Ah, yes, I see a delightful face, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're just saying that so you can get some handouts from the frickin' royal family of Bohemia. Yeah, everybody says so. Great disguise, then.
The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the Crystal Tower where the victim fell.
Von Zykes cuts off this cheery music with his fist.
Therefore, only the accused who was with Mr. Asman on the stage could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, The defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord. All right. Cross-examination. The view from 60 feet up. Yep. Yahoo! It's me, Mario. There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand. See, all 3 of them, bellissimi bambini. They are very popular, signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money. Royals have all the luck. I got up there for free, so I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know. Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other.
The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area.
See, and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me. Well, at least you're happy about being hated?
Thank you, witness. I should think the court is a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident.
Right, I can fill you in there, my lord. There's this huge bang from the stage, and the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Yep, isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh, Yodo? I'm telling you, Yodo, being a lawyer's a mug game. A mug's game. You should join the force so we can go flying together. Tempting offer, but I don't think that Ryunosuke would be a fan of heights. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything. We saw everything. Because we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbing into the cage and that dodgy professor pulling all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared, just like that.
You were describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I didn't even know what to make of it. But then there was another bang right in my ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky. And there was nothing there before. Child.
Excuse me.
Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ? Child? My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name. Yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Ormstein. Just the 4 names, then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? Oh, get it right, Odo. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address him at the moment? Listen, Gina's just trying to be smug. She's smiling while she says it. That is not what I saw. Oh? Yeah. There was a second explosion. It was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure, which is what I said in it. 1 minute there was nothing there. The next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Give me another balloon, fool. Okie dokie. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? Hey, you what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it is lies. That is not allowed. Playing the bleeding royalty card, are you? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's Police. You know, I just realized that the child has like a bandaged head. Did they like get hit by shrapnel or something?
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia.
Okay. It was not the sky that exploded. There was a green balloon that was next to us at the time. Okay, I think I actually know what to present here. You know, first off, I just want to say something. I posted about this on Twitter today, actually, but, I mean, then again, this is going to come out a few days after I posted a thing on Twitter. But I realized that I've had the same profile picture for a while, so I'm thinking of maybe getting a profile picture of a character from this game, perhaps? Just in order to spice things up, get something new. I'm thinking of getting one of Gina. I just really like her design. And I decided, hey, might as well. I think I was originally planning to change it to Sholmes, but then I decided against it because I was, well, it's not that I decided against it, just that I forgot. So probably, and also it justifies the fact that I waited this long to change it because Gina has a new outfit in this game, which honestly I think is just better than what she had in the first one, so that just adds a lot as well. I feel like it's gotta be this, right? Yeah, it's gotta be this. Objection. Wait, what? Seriously? Surely something about the last statement seems odd, doesn't it?
Would you care to mull over precisely what you find out about it on your return journey to Japan?
I wouldn't be back to give the court an answer for about 4 months, though.
Rest assured, we should be happy to carry proceedings forward in your absence, counsel.
He sounds serious. I have to prove my worth before he really does send me back home. Okay. I guess we'll have to press this. A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that? Of course I am sure. I am a proud Bohemian Prince. All these questions are making me boring. I think you mean bored. Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior. Lago, so it is very wrong to lie. Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planet never explodes. It is logical. Please tell me it doesn't mean logical. If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. Madai. I will have the army come and shoot all your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them. Man, I could not go high-pitched enough for this child. I would if I could. Trust me. And then he smiles and gives him a thing. Here you are, your highness. If only all international incidents are so easily resolved.
Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment so that the cage materialized, Mr. Lune?
Oh, no. I did not see the explosion myself, however. That cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the Crystal Tower. Hold it! Did you see that actually happen? No, No, in reality I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. Mamma mia! Mamma mia! There was a grand confusion there on the stage. I ran to see what had happened. Wahoo! I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a Mario voice without getting very loud. I suppose they are his livelihood. But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now, which means I have sharp eyes. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like to hear. To hear, I mean. So I forgot the accent for a second. I did get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. I also want to use her as a profile picture just because she's incredibly cute and adorable, and all of her poses would work well. Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Eh? Use your head, Odo. How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So because I weren't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over here. Over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicked spectators as he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real start to put out a hold, I can tell you. Amazing. Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of my wits. Keep it together, Inspector. Alright. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Well, we already have that, so I guess that would mean that we would need to do this. Let me... Just gotta figure this out. And then... This? Nope. Well, but I messed up again. You know what? When in doubt, just present everything you can. Blah 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 blah. Nope. I'll get it eventually. And if not, then, well...
I'll make something else work out, I suppose.
Could have sworn it would have been this. Why is it not? Oh wait, actually, I just realized something. Let me reload for it, though. Freaking having to do the brute force method on this. I only have 1 health left, good lord. I'm only grateful. Oh, balloons! Maybe on the first statement? Objection! Oh my god. I have spent so much time looking at this, you have no idea. Mr. Lune, in your testimony... Oh, right. It's not Lune, it's Loon, because his frickin'... My god, his... I know what the joke is now. Balthazar Loon. Ball Loon. Oh my god, his name is literally Ball... Why is he called Bohemian Boy? Oh, whatever. Yeah, his name is literally Balloon. What am I talking about? You said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. Ah, I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope? Pardon. That is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air.
It is made from a very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. Right, so we didn't... Oh, I get it. We didn't present it on the Bohemian Boy's testimony because he was actually telling the truth, and we needed to find a contradiction, meaning that we needed to prove someone wrong rather than proving someone right. That's like some Danganronpa 2 level of stuff. Eh? If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement there would have been that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No! Oh, damn. If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so?
Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, have we just been the whole time positive experience? How awful. Seems to me like those crash with the rabble. The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon. Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts.
This I cannot accept. Sorry for that sudden jump. My mom interrupted the recording in order to show me that our cat decapitated a mouse and ate its head. I don't know what to do with this information, it just kind of makes me sad, honestly. Anyways, back to the recording. I shared information that I might not have wanted to... maybe not should have shared, but I did anyways. Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar? That person's died in a balloon incidente.
There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day.
Fired up, he says. That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Loon is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is non-possible. You're saying it's impossible? Why?
This court has more important matters to discuss than the numbers of balloons that were operating that day.
Van Zykes, you say that, but at the same time, we've been dealing with a freaking case of doing stuff like freaking teleportation.
Objection.
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon, next time on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, matane.